We are going to be taking a look at a tent today. So this is the Vango F10 series Nexus 2 UL. I'm a bit late to the party with this one. This is quite a recent tent from the Vango range. It's been out just over a year. I'm impressed with the pack size, so it packs down quite small actually. However, I wouldn't say it's ultralight. Packed weight 1.9 kilos, trail weight 1.7, whatever trail weight means. Sometimes it means no bag, sometimes it means no pegs as well. Let's take a look, shall we? I'm going to get wet knees. Peek too soon, look. It's got those little compression straps on, which is handy. So it's got an oversized bag by the looks of it as well, so it should be easy to get it back in here once you want to pack it away again. So this isn't actually my tent. This belongs to a subscriber who's lent it to me so we can compare notes. He sent me a bit of a list of things that he likes and doesn't like about the tent, and he's just asked for my opinion on it, so let's have a look. So I've never had it out of the bag yet, so we shall see how long it takes to set up. Let's start that timer. So we'll be a little bit quicker than this because I am going to have little pauses for moving cameras and things like that. We don't want to lose the bag, do we? Poles, not sure of the thickness. I will put it on the screen. It looks about 8mm. Colour coordinated, or colour coded. A blue one. And we've got like a browny, bronzy sort of colour. Pegs. Seems a tight fit in there. Well, you're not going to lose them, are you? V-pegs, Vango branded. Colour coordinated the pole sleeves as well, so there's no messing up. Brown and blue. The hole's quite small. And it's a tight fit, so I don't think you wouldn't get, you might just get 2 poles in if you needed to double pole it for any reason. Pretty standard on the end. Little grommets. Whoa, windy. Probably should have crossed the poles first. If you look here, the pole has got to go over the top of the other pole and then back in again through the sleeve. Over the pole and back through that side of the sleeve. It would have been easier if I hadn't put the poles in the eyelets yet. In fact, I'll just unclip this one. Yeah, it's quite tight, that fit. Imagine if your tent's blowing all over. That can be a bit of a pain. Here we go. Semi-freestanding. So the inner and the outer are not clipped in these corners, so I'm assuming you have to get both together. There's a few brands that do this. I wish they'd clip the inner and the outer together. Just tighten things up with these little line lock adjusters. These have come unclipped as well. Try and tidy these up a bit. That's 12 minutes. The tent's up, just needs tightening up a little bit. This one's come untied. Looks quite sturdy, doesn't it? What do you think? so before we have a good look around, I quickly want to thank Squarespace, who's kindly sponsored the video today. So Squarespace is the place to go if you want to have a go at building a website all by yourself. So we've been using Squarespace for many years now, and we've got no idea when it comes to web design or coding. All we did was choose one of their ready-made templates. We uploaded our own photos and text, and then just dragged things around a little bit until we got it looking just how we wanted it. The platform's got loads of different features. Jo uses hers for selling her artwork and paintings, whereas I use mine for promoting the YouTube channel, online raffles, and I also use it to publish my blog. Whatever you want to do, from opening an online shop to setting up a subscription service, Squarespace has got you covered. So if you want to have a go yourself at building a website, then click the link in the description below or head over to squarespace.com/Paul Messner. You'll get a totally free trial, and when you're ready to go live, you'll get 10% off your first purchase. So the F10 Nexus 2, it's a two-person tent. The fly sheet is a 15 denier silicone coated reinforced ripstop nylon. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? All of these seams are taped, so it's not going to be silicone coated both sides. Vango are calling these the Powerlight Plus poles. They are 7001 T6 aluminium. Let's have a look see inside. So storm flap, Velcro. It's got one of these little clips on it, so it holds, it stops your door from creeping up. Although if you've had a few pints, there we go, we've got it off. Tent costs about 300 quid, although Vango, they don't have it in stock themselves at the moment. It's just a little bit of fabric on there, there's no bungee or anything. That is the size of your vestibule, so it's not huge, is it? But you have got two of them, so there's two entrances as well. See if this side is any bigger. You can do it one-handed, just about. Now that's just about the same size. Note that that is part of the TBS system. Tension band system. So that's supposed to give the tent extra stability. You don't need that on all the time, it's just if the wind really picks up. Let's jump in, shall we? So this gets in the way a little bit, this TBS system. And it's quite a low down door. So one of the things that Alan noticed is that getting in and out, because this is quite low, is a bit more difficult for him. Although the lower profile will make it a good sturdy tent in the wind. So he says that this has been great in 30-mile-an-hour winds. So we have got to bend down a little bit to get in. But once you're in, it's quite spacious. It's a bit warm now, I'm out of that wind. So I haven't got a sleeping mat in here. I'm almost touching the top of the tent. So it is quite low in profile. Got my little seat with me as well, so we'll see if we've got a good sitting room. Sit back and lounge. It's nice and airy in here. Although, say, my head is just touching the top of the inner a little bit. Let me show you around. Quite a bit of mesh around the bottom. Some little pockets at the top, quite like those. I don't know if that comes as standard or whether Alan's fitted the little washing line himself, because it doesn't look like it's the same sort of colour. Another pocket at the end there. One at that side as well. So this is the tension band system. So if it gets really windy, you clip both of these on. You don't need these on all of the time. And it gives you that stable triangle in the middle of the tent. So it adds to the support during the wind, although it seems quite slack there. See if it's adjustable. It is, but it's not the greatest adjuster in the world. There we go, we've got there in the end. So these should be taut. Yeah, a little bit fiddly, some of the things. The the way that you have to connect the inner and the outer. I suppose once you've got it set up properly, it should stay in place, but this is a bit strange, look. So they've got a little window there to put your tension band through, so if your door was shut up you can still have the support on there. It goes through the door. But yeah, as Alan's mentioned in his notes, once you unclip this, put it out of the way, there isn't actually anywhere to store that. Yeah, so you would have thought there'd be a little pocket or something to store this cordage. You know, you don't want to be tripping over that when you're getting in and out of your tent, do you? Looks like they got a little bit carried away with the tape when they were doing the seams for that badge though, doesn't it? I'm gonna have to take my shoes off after all. We need to see how long this tent is. If you've got 2 people in here, you're quite close to the inner, I suppose. But for 1 person, it's a bit of a palace. In the middle, feet to the end. It's a good amount of space there. All of these are taped up. Double stitching on here. 2 more pockets. Loads of bumps there. Let's bring up Alan's notes, see if I agree with him. So when it comes to buying a tent, I usually overthink things and put a little bit too much research in. So I asked Alan what was his thought process when he came to buying it, and he was looking for 2 identical tents for doing the West Island Way with his nephew, and he was originally looking at the F10 Helium, but he couldn't find any that had 2 in stock at the same time. So he asked on a Facebook group and other things, and although this had only just come out at the time, it was getting a lot of good publicity and reports. So let's get this undone. Get in my way. Yeah, so you've managed to find somewhere that's got 2 of these in stock, and he bought them without actually having seen them before. He loves the colour of it, so colour was a thing for him, but he was unsure about the inner height. He's 5'9", a little bit taller than me, and he paid £289 each. So yeah, I'd agree with him on the inner. It's usable, you know. It's as good as my Enan and some of the Terra Nova tents I've got. But he was impressed by how easy it was to put up. See, I thought that, although it's the first time I'd done it, a little bit fiddly with you know, having to clip the inner and outer together at the same time. But he said it's been really stable, or pretty stable should I say, in 30-mile-an-hour winds with stronger gusts, and he had no issues at all with the waterproofing. He said it's not the lightest tent in the world, which I said at the start, but it does pack down well. So we seem to agree on that. There seems to be a lack of storage for these band systems. These are nice to have, and I don't think you're going to need them very much. You just be careful where you pitch and the conditions you go out in. But it would be nice to have some sort of little pocket for them, which is what he says here. So he'd say that it was in the mid-price range, 300 to 350 quid now. You don't get a lot more than you do for a Chinese copy. So yeah, he's pretty honest with his appraisal there, but he wants to support a British company. So I'm pretty sure that this is made in China anyway, but it is for a British company, which I was talking about in a video a couple of videos ago. It says he can get a full-size pad inside with room for his bag and a stove. So the vestibule space for me is a bit on the small side, but if you've got something like this for 1 person, you're going to bring all your gear in. Al's also said that the vestibule's small, but he uses a peg to give him a little bit more floor space. Let's have a look at that. So you can unclip that there, look, and then just peg that back, which is, yeah, it's not a bad idea. Could do with another little loop in there. So if they put another one of these, that clips into that little loop, if they had another one of those there, or Alan, when you get it back, if you stitch something in there, you can just clip that in. But yeah, about the same as my Hilleberg Hunter then. Virtual vestibule. What else do we have to say? So his main grumble, Alan's main grumble with this tent. So this is the first time I've ever seen it, so I can't grumble too much. But he's actually used it. The fly sheet doors are a bit on the low side. So, you know, for getting in, especially when he's trying to get in when it's wet, you know, you've got to put your knees on the floor or something like that, or get some sort of sit pad. But the low height doesn't make it more wind resistant, so I've already mentioned that. He also says that the inner's a little bit saggy and needs adjustments. That's a 5-minute job. However, looks perfectly fine to me. I'm assuming he's already done it. Although I don't know if you might be able to adjust it, I don't know. So they've got Velcro up here as well for the TBS. To make sure that they're properly closed in mid-season. You don't want anything crawling through these little gaps in the Velcro. He hasn't mentioned the ventilation. Let me show you. So you can see that there's light under there, so you're going to get some ventilation from underneath. There's a couple of vents up here, which I do like it when they put a little bit of mesh on it as well. There's some you just have a gap there, so you can sometimes have your door open and you're not totally exposed to all of the bugs and things. So there's a decent amount of space between the fly sheet and the inner. So Alan might have had to adjust these to make things a little bit more taut. See how easy it is. Here we go, look. So there, look, there's quite a bit of, they might have been longer, so I've had to retie those on. You can do it one-handed. But yeah, there's an example, look. So I've just leant on that a little bit. And the inner has come untied from its little bit of string. Just probably needs tying better. Let's get outside and deliver my final thoughts. So first of all, a massive thank you to Alan for sending me out his tent to try out. He said, do with it as you wish. The way he sees it is tents are meant to be used in the outdoors. They're meant to get wet. They're meant to get a bit of mud on them. Yeah, go out and test it. So yeah, I'm a little bit more precious about sharing my more pride and joy tents. Joe says I'm a little bit special like that. But so when I go camping next, I'm going to give this a bash. I really like the size of it. I like the pack size as well. Yeah, it's around the 2 kilo mark, which it doesn't bother me. I know nowadays some people say that is way too heavy, but I think if you're happy to carry it, doesn't matter what it weighs. It seems pretty sturdy as well. I've not seen any videos where these are taking a real beating, but it's not my style of camping anymore. I reckon it's one of those tents that you need to pitch it a few times just to get the hang of it. I'd make a few little modifications so the inner and the fly sheet were connected together. Even if there's just a little bit of, you know, string somehow, or a loop in there, a little ring or something. Space inside's lovely. It's handy having 2 doors, 2 vestibules, and like Alan says, you can just make that a larger space if you need to. Just one side for your cooking. So early impressions are good, but the proof will be when I get it up in the hills, so that video will be coming soon. If you're watching, Alan, I think you bought a good one. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you next time.